Oh, forgot. Okay, so I hope you guys can actually hear me now. I realized yesterday that my microphone was not connected, and so it was probably not very good sound in the video. But thank you for sticking it out. If you did not see that video, go ahead and go and check it out when this one is done. Um, so there are so many things that my ADHD brain is wanting to talk about, but I think the most important thing to talk about today is this thing that we call life. This thing can be hard if you let it, right? And I say if you let it in the sense that how you take things is ultimately going to determine how you process them, which is going to determine how they sit with you versus bad things happen, right? Because let's just be honest, good things happen to people and bad things happen to people. And bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. This life is about duality, and there is nothing that we can do about that. So the longer that you fight the current, the more tired you're going to be. Life is very tough at times and can send you for a whole roller coaster ride. And I used to be so very, very upset, angry, sad, um, depressed, anxious about my life. I was very unhappy because I was like, this isn't how I planned it. This isn't how it was supposed to go. How did I end up like this? Blah, blah, blah. And then I got mad at myself for saying the blah, blah, blah because all the blah, blah matters, right? But then I realized something. And it made me rethink how I was looking at everything. I realized that if this game that we call life was perfect, it would be boring and like really dull. So understanding that in itself was very relieving because we sometimes don't understand and or underestimate our position in the chaos that is going on around us. Some of us are meant to change the world. Some of us are meant to change our world. And some of us are meant to change our world while holding light for others. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. When I understood that things happen for me and not to me, everything changed. I can give you several examples. Like, I got married at a very young age. I knew that this person wasn't my forever person, but I was escaping, or at least trying to escape, a very toxic, narcissistic home environment. And didn't realize that I was walking into a very, very volatile situation. So I essentially went from one bad situation to another very, very bad situation. And although when it ended, I was so upset and brokenhearted and disappointed in myself, because I'm like, I could have made it work. I just, if I would have just stuck it in there, like stuck in there, if I would have just stuck in there, if I would have given it more, if I would have, if I, and I placed all the blame on myself. Which in all actuality, I am so grateful that it didn't work out. Like, listen, we really do not, we really don't understand when we've dodged a bullet. Because in the moment, it's like, it's what we want. And this is like, it's got to work out. And we are so just stuck in that mentality of, this is what I want. And if it doesn't work out, it's like just detrimental. Let me say something. I would rather be a single mother, as I am now, than to have dealt with what was going on in that household. Like, when you when you grow up in chaos, you attract chaos. When you grow up in hardship and trauma, you attract hardship and trauma until you realize what's going on. Because some of us, we walk through life with blinders on, and it's not voluntary. We don't know that we're wearing those glasses because of how we grew up. We don't understand that how we grew up wasn't the normal, or it wasn't what it was supposed to be. We only know what we have. An orange only knows that it's an orange. It doesn't understand that it's a mandarin until it meets a tangerine. Like, it's it's just what we know, right? And so um understanding that who that person was when the mask came off was someone that I could not deal with, or I was going to end up in a lot of trouble. I chose to leave. I chose not to feed it any more of my tea. Okay? When and by tea, I do mean my time, my energy, and my attention. When I decided to stop pouring my tea into someone else's cup who was broken, right? So I'm pouring my tea into a cup that's broken. And so everything that I'm pouring into this cup is coming out of the crack, and it's just flowing everywhere, right? And so instead of trying to fix that cup, I just stopped pouring the tea. One thing about me, and two things for sure, right, is that I will give it a going shot. I will try. I would try just about anything once. Well, this is my third shot at YouTube. So, Glow, this is for you, okay? Yeah. But When I decided that I was no longer going to pour my tea into this cup, into this broken vessel, and I separated myself from the situation, I had to grieve. I grieved a marriage that I thought had failed. I grieved a lost child. I grieved having to leave my family and my friends, because I didn't just leave him. I left the state. I moved over 4,000 miles away because I knew that if I stayed in that state, that he was not going to leave me alone. I knew that if I stayed in that state, from the threats that I was getting, that it was going to go down. And one thing I'm not afraid of confrontation. I just prefer now as an adult not to indulge in those things, right? And so I knew then, after a very apparent incident, it showed me who he really was, and what I had signed up for. And I was like, nah, I didn't sign up for this, because what you did was you tricked me. You made me think that you were one person, when in all actuality, you were the person that I told you that I was trying to escape in the first place. And so I called it quits. Yes, I did grieve. I did have remorse for something that I thought that I failed at. But when I changed my mindset around it, this is years later, I said, okay, what did I learn? Ooh, I got a whole list of things, and when that's gonna be for a whole nother video. But I got a whole list of things that I learned from that one situation that I was able to get out of. I literally dodged a bullet. Okay. The person, because I've seen this person in the last five years. Oh no. We could not have, no. No. Mm-mm. Y'all got that. You can keep that too. I don't want no parts of it. Okay? So, sometimes when we're in it, we don't see what's in the box. And when we get out of it, we see, like, oh my God. Like, I could have been dealing with that. Now, did my life turn out the way that I expected it to? No, it didn't. I ended up being a single mom. That is not something that I ever wanted, nor I thought was going to happen. It was never something that I strived for, but it's what I got. And so when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Add some sugar, you know what I'm saying? Melt, just mix it up. It is what it is. I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and cry over spilt milk for too long. I'm not. I just can't. I cannot allow myself, because I know that when I sit and I cry over spilt milk, it's not the same as everybody else, because my depression runs so deep that you, the stories that I could tell you, you would just be like, really? And I'd just be like, yeah, because depression is not something to play with. And when I went through that situation, I realized that I had was still fighting the depression from losing my child. And so those two things led me down a very, very deep rabbit hole, where I'm so grateful for the people that were around me at the time, because I literally I literally cried on my best friend's lap, because I thought that I had failed as a woman, as a wife. I thought that it was just game over, right? Um excuse me, y'all. It is, talking about it still hurts, right? But I'm getting through it. So yeah, knowing that I was able to come through a very dark time like that and still end up with two beautiful children, to still end up as someone who can stand on their own 2 feet, as someone who understands toxic patterns. And when I see toxic patterns, I run. I will about face and walk the other way, because what we're not going to do is that again. I am the type of person who um I overthink everything. I overanalyze. Because I want to make sure that what I'm doing is in the best interest of who I am now, not who I was. Who I was then was this young lady who was trying to escape one thing and ran into another thing. That's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And don't get me wrong, all of us got a little bit of devil in us. Can't nobody say out. Nobody I know can say, oh yeah, I'm a 100% angel. Use a lie. Use a lie. Whether you want to admit it or not. Just, it is what it is. Right? But when we address those issues and we confront ourselves and we know what our triggers are and we know our limits, that's what makes you a better person. That's what made me a better person. So when I say, yeah, change how you're looking at it, what is that doing for you? You may be upset about a relationship that didn't work out, but what did it save you from? You may be upset about a job that you didn't get, or a job that you got fired from. What is it saving you from? What was the lesson? Do you understand what your worth is now? Are you going to go and find a job that makes you happy, that you resonate with, not just something that you do well? Is it something that's warming you in here? Because if it's not, it's really not worth it. Having the life that I've had has taught me some very hard lessons. And understanding that perception is a mofo. Okay. I was watching YouTube and I saw this short about this teacher and these two kids, and they were standing on each side of the table, and he kept asking them, well, and oh, there was a ball in the middle. And so he asked the boy on one side, he said, what color is the ball? The boy, he said white. And then he asked the one on the other side and he said, what color is the ball? And he said black. And they kept going back and forth. No, it's this color. No, it's that color. No, it's this color. And when the teacher picked up the ball, one side of the ball was white and one side of the ball was black. And it was like, oh crap. So they both were seeing a ball, but because of their positions, they were both seeing something completely different. So my point is that sometimes we don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what's on the other side of that missed opportunity. Oh, and let me just say, whatever is meant for you will come back to you. It is never lost. It is just redirected. So ADHD. So knowing that, oh, what's my point? Knowing that perception is dependent upon your position can be a very, very relieving eye-opening thing, because knowing that I could have ended up with this life over here that Lord knows, no, right? Or I could have ended up a single mom. Oh, baby, I'd have chose a single mom every day of the week. Every day. Every day. What does Glow say? Every single day. Okay? I would have hands down, because I know my capabilities and I know what I'm able to deal with. Change your perception on whatever it is that is eating at you. Write it out if you have to. I don't know if you journal, but I would say ask yourself the question of, what is it that's upsetting me? Why is it upsetting me? What is it that I'm possibly not seeing? And or what is it that I can learn from this situation? If it was a bad breakup, okay, I understand that it's upsetting me. I ended a relationship. That's what's upsetting me. Why is it upsetting me? Because I invested my tea into this, my time, my energy, and my attention into something that is now finite. Okay, well, what can I learn from this? I can learn more about myself and what I really want out of a relationship, or what I really want out of life, period. Or what I really want out of a forever partner, right? If you didn't get the job, okay, well, what's upsetting me? I didn't get the job. Why is that upsetting me? I really need a job, or I have a family to take care of, and the job, would have done this, that, and next. Okay, well, what can you do about that? You can go and find another job. You can put in more applications. You can go to networking events. You can go to job fairs. You can find another way. You can find another job. There are plenty of people out here who are hiring for your skills. If you don't want to work for a big business, you can work for a small business and then become an entrepreneur on the side. I'm just saying, hint, hint, you know? Um, I have a friend who had a business in another state, and then she moved here, and she's been working different jobs. And she's like, okay, well, I'm good at this one thing, so I'm just going to get jobs in this one thing. And I totally understand that, because we have kids, we have mouth to feed, and she's got way more kids than I got, right? But the other day we were having a conversation, and she just voiced that, like, she's tired of doing things that don't necessarily um, make her day easy, right? Because of the type of job that she's in, she is not something that she's really excited about doing. And so I asked her, well, what did you do for your business? And she told me, and then I gave her 3 business ideas on the spot and was like, oh, well, why don't you do this? You already do this. Why don't you do this, this, and this? Right? So at the end of the day, how we choose to look at it determines our reaction and affects our emotions. Whatever it is can be looked at from a different point of view. As a photographer, um, I would tell you to change your position. I would tell you to change your focus, move. So if you're standing here and this is how you see something, I need you to go and stand over here and look at it this way. I need you to go and stand over here and look at it that way, because anything and everything can be something that you can learn from, so that ultimately you can get a lesson out of it, because everything is in fact a lesson, right? It's like these video games. Like, my kids play these games where you have to, like, level up, or you have to um, you have to go through these different levels, and you have to fight the boss. It reminds me of like Mario. I don't know if anybody's that old, I might have just given away my age, but it's cool. Mario, where you had to like go through the different levels, and you had to fight, you had to jump over the little turtles, and you had to fight the little gremlin things, and then you had to dodge the fireballs, and then you like in order to go forward you had to jump and go down the chute, and then you had to complete a task, and then you'd come back up and you'd have more points, and you'd have more this and that, and then you could eat these little magic mushrooms and they would make you bigger, and you like life is a game. So which level are you on? And how are you going to get to the next level? You had to beat a boss. You had to overcome something. All right, cool. Use that to fuel you to get to the next level. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let me stop yelling at y'all. Sorry. I get really passionate sometimes. Um and so it kind of makes me like raise my voice a little bit, but I don't mean to yell at y'all. I'm gonna calm down. um, so yeah, like changing your perception, understanding that you know you can redirect what is meant for you, but you cannot miss it, and stop pouring your tea into everybody's cup. Like, what are you doing on a daily basis? Are you doing something to entertain yourself? Are you educating yourself? Are you doing something that makes you feel fulfilled? Or are you just wasting your time? Like, I'm I'm not a big um like I don't watch a lot of like TV shows, like reality TV. I don't do that. For what? Those people, what are they, what is the point? For me personally, just like when my kids sit up here and they watch these YouTube videos where they're watching someone else play the game, I didn't understand that. But then my daughter was like, oh, well, when we watch them play the game, it tells us how we should or shouldn't do this and that. And like, and she broke it down to me, and I was like, oh. So whereas I don't see the point and I don't think it's educational, it's actually giving them a way to figure out how to beat their game, or how to get certain things in their game. It's what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you feeding your mind? What are you listening to? If you're listening to music that is not, like you get my point, right? I hope you do. It's like, I hope you get the point. What are you feeding your tea? Are you feeding it to someone else? Or are you investing it into yourself? Are you putting it back in your cup, or are you putting it in someone else's cup? And honestly, when I stop doing all the things, like I stopped watching reality TV, which let me use a different example, because I never really watched reality TV. There was like one or two shows that I liked, and then that it just got boring to me. Um, are you constantly watching shows, or some anything that is not teaching you? Is it educating you? Is it giving you tools to move forward in this thing that we call life? Or is it just entertainment? And it is okay to be entertained for a little bit. But then what you do with the rest of your time determines what you get out of life. Yeah. It just determines what you're going to get out of life. Like, are you learning a new skill? Are you reading a new book? Are you trying to figure out how to navigate what you're going through? Or are you um like, there's so many different things, like, for real. I just I realized that I was in the situation that I was in because of where I was giving my time, my energy, and my attention. And whenever I was stagnant in my life, it was because I wasn't giving my tea to the right things. And so, yeah, um, changing your perspective, understanding where you're putting your time, your energy, and your attention, and realizing that everything that is happening for you and not to you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bypassing anybody's struggle, because at the end of the day, we all have different circumstances. But I'm saying that if you want to, you can get through and get to the other side. It may not be unscathed, it may not be without grief and you might be bruised up, but you'll get there. You'll get there. And you'll get there in one piece. And I promise you, if you invest your tea in yourself, that you will get there and you will end up being a better person because of the lessons that you've learned. Um, there are some cases where in which I understand how people could be like, I don't see what you're talking about. I don't this and this happened, but it's and what can you learn from it? I've been through some things. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, sexual abuse, and to know that I have to take some sense of responsibility for how my life is now, and know that I can turn it around. Like, those are the things that got me through. Grieve what you're going through and allow it to create someone who can weather the storm. And I'm pausing because I'm trying to choose my words very, very carefully, because my intention is not to offend anyone, because everybody's circumstance is different. Just know that you can get through, you can make it through. You just have to make the decision that you're not going to let it break you. Um, you've got this. I've got this. We've got this. And I look forward to talking to you in tomorrow's video. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.